One of the most common mistakes that you see people make when they're actually in a real fight on the street is the instinctual power move reliance. And what that means is people rely instinctively on their power move, which is traditionally a haymaker. It's that barroom brawl, roundhouse punch. And if you watch video after video of street fights caught on tape, what you'll find is a lot of times they really just come down to this wildly swinging where both people are just kind of swinging back and forth, trying to land a certain sort of punch. Well, that traditional haymaker, although you can get a lot of power behind it there, really has a lot of drawbacks where it doesn't really work very well. One of them is that when I'm swinging around to the outside, traditionally or typically your body, to maintain its balance, drops your lead hand. So when I come here, it brings up my hand, but as I come down, you'll see this where it drops down here because that's where I get my maximum power. Well, what this does is it opens up my center line. So most of the time this isn't even going to hit its target, but it opens up my center line. It drops my other hand instinctively and it opens me up to be hit. Also, what happens a lot of times is that because you're not targeting very well, you're relying on these power moves like this, is that if I miss my target, if he's standing up here, he's in like boxer stance, and I go to roundhouse him and he moves, well, my intended target was right here. And my brain and my entire body processed missile target. So when I go to try and hit that target and it moves, my entire body was set up balance-wise for that point of impact. When that point of impact isn't there anymore, basically it takes your entire body and it moves it off balance. So what you'll find up a lot of times is that when somebody goes in a fight, they'll fall all over themselves, they'll trip themselves, then you're lying on the ground, and then other people are stomping on top of your head. So the haymaker really does not work very well. Here's a better option when you're in an actual street fight. Again, you're squared off here, you've got your balance here, but instead of focusing on the center line, come this way a little bit more, you're going to instead use basically a power jab. And what that is number one, most people don't know how to protect their center line. So your attacker he's not really geared and practiced in protecting his center line either. So from a relaxed position or a fenced position or whatever it is, you instead of coming around the roundhouse, you come straight up the center line. So this center line jab, you can either do it with a fist or you can do it with a palm heel. I recommend you do it with a palm heel to avoid damaging your wrist. But just coming straight up into a fist here, into a jab down the center line, goes under his radar, takes advantage of his center line, and it also keeps you balanced. Because if my stance is such that I'm balanced here and I'm not going off to the side, when I'm coming straight forward, it allows me to maintain my forward momentum. And even if I miss, if I come through and he moves his head, at least I'm not falling off to the side. I still have the position here where my forward momentum is going into my attacker. So even if I miss and fall forward, I can still reach out and grab him. I can come into a clinch position. Even if I'm just steadying myself, you're already naturally in a position where I'm here and I can drive a knee in. I can do a whole bunch of stuff from this position rather than falling off to the side and tripping all over myself.